Hello everyone. In today's video, we'll see how to apply scaling and use logistic regression for our data set, PIMA diabetics, right? So in our last video, we have seen, how to convert numerical, columns into categorical, and it's important, right? So why we need to convert to the categorical, and also we have seen one-hot encoding or get dummies, right? And why we need to use those, encodings, right? Today's video is the continuation where we left in our last video, right? So we'll start with the train and test split of our data. We know this is the package which we need to use, right? Now, yep. So we are splitting our training data set as 70% and the test size is 30%. So usually mentioning this two is not required. Either train size, mentioning either train size or test size would be enough, right? And what you see a new thing is Stratify, right? So why are we using Stratify here? So if you want to understand it, please watch my previous video where I talked about different sampling techniques and imbalanced data, right? One of the major problem in the classification. So it will give the good idea why we are using Stratify here. All right, so okay, looks like let me run this. Yeah, okay, now this error should go. Yep, we'll see outcome dot, we'll see the value counts. Okay, what happened? My bad, it should be small letter V. Yeah, so now we'll also see the test set. So we have 150 records which falls under 0 and 81 records which falls under 1 under the test data, and similarly in the train data we have 350 records falls under 0 and 187 records falls under 1, right? So now the next step what we'll do is we'll do the scaling on the data, right? So before we do the scaling, I want to show you the data set, the train data set, right? Now we'll go for min-max scaling. So if you're not sure what is scaling, please watch my previous video where I was talking about different types of scaling, why we need scaling, right? So we'll get more understanding on that. This min-max scaler, this is the scaler which we are going to use. So I'm creating an object called scaler, right? Now for this, obviously, right, so obviously I can do scaling on the numerical columns, right? So I'm just identify the glucose and the blood pressure where I need scaling, right? I'm just ignoring the skin thickness, right? So number of columns, numerical columns, sorry, is equal to glucose comma blood pressure, right? Now I need to fit it, scalar dot fit on my training data on the selected numerical columns, right? Now I fit my the scalar min-max scalar on my numerical columns, right? So now we'll see how this looks like now. We don't see any changes here, right? Now what we'll do is we'll try to transform it. In a minute I'll explain you what I mean by transform, right? First we'll do that, equal to scalar dot here spelling mistake, no problem. This is just a warning, we can ignore it. Did you see the values get scaled, right? So why we use fit and why we use transform, right? When you say fit, what it does is it will calculate the minimum value and maximum value for the given column, right? We selected two columns, right? So what it does is first it will calculate the minimum value and maximum value for the glucose, and then it will also select the minimum value, maximum value for the blood pressure, right? And then when we say transform, what it does is it will start calculating the this min max scalar for the selected columns, right? What fit does, fit will calculate the minimum maximum values for the selected columns, and transform will apply those scaling on the selected columns, right? So there is an option called fit underscore transform, right, which you can do in a single line, does the both job. Instead of first you fit it and then transform, instead you can say simply fit underscore transform, right? Again, in case if you don't understand what I mean by min max scalar, min max, right, please don't forget to watch one of my video called scaling, right? So now by now you might have a question, right? So why are we not doing scaling on the whole data set, or why we are not doing the scaling on the test data set? The scaling which we have done is on the train data set. Why not on the test, and why not on the whole data set? Because test data is nothing but unseen data, or a new data, or the data that comes once our model is deployed, right? So because I never know, but I know we have a test data, but we are creating the test data in a such a way that my model never seen that data before, right? So how can I perform a scaling on the unseen data that I really don't know, that I really don't exist technically, right? So what we are doing is we are calculating the min max values for the selected columns on our training data set, and whenever we are using the test data or the data that comes in the real time after model deployment, we'll apply the min max scalar values to the unseen data that we calculate on the training data, right? Let's say for this particular column glucose, the minimum value is 10 and the maximum value is 100, right? So now what happens, obviously I'll apply this value on each and every row on the glucose on the training data set, right? So I said min value is 10 and max value is 100. Based on this I calculated each and every row, and I got this results, right? So now on the test data set or the unseen data set, what I'll do is I'll get some glucose value, right? For that glucose value I'll apply these values, because obviously, right, we don't know, we may get the request in a bulk, we may get one request at a time for prediction, right? So if you see our the linear regression model deployment where we tested from the Postman tool, we are sending only one request, right? If I am sending one request, how can I calculate minimum and the maximum value, right? And moreover, that's not the right way to calculate, right? So this minimum value and max value will take from the training data set, and whatever the data comes, whether it's a test data, once we deployed our model, whenever the real data comes, right, we still use the same values for our scaling purpose, right? Great. So now is the time to build our model. So from the linear model we are importing the logistic regression, right? So I'm just creating a logistic regression object, right? So now in the train data, if you see df underscore train data, we have outcome also, right? So now what we'll do is in the x variable, I'll take the data other than outcome, right? So maybe I can say drop outcome comma x is equal to 1, and in the one second, I'm very bad at spellings. Just a second. Yeah, and we'll also take the y value. Y is equal to df.train train. Yeah, now we have x and y values, and it's the same. If you remember, right, in our linear regression we have seen how to fit how to train our with our data. It's the same procedure. We say lg is our linear regression object that fit comma x comma y. That's it. Right, now we'll talk about the model evaluation. Right, so model. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll import a package called accuracy score, which is under sklearn matrices. If you remember, this is the same class which we used for our linear regression, where we imported r square, mean square error, root mean square error, right? So now what I'll do is I am testing my model on the trained data set, which is the scene data, right? Why we are testing our model with the scene data that we already discussed in our linear regression model. Please watch it. Predict. What I need to predict? X. If I pass X value, right, and we'll see what is there in the X other than the outcome variable, right, then it should predict the Y value, right? In the train test, you see this is the value 0 1, right? And we have an accuracy score, which is I need to find the accuracy. So this is the variable where my prediction data has, and this is the Y variable where my actual values is there, right? Now if you see, I got 77% accuracy, right? And of course, in the similar way, we have to do it on the test data, because test data is the main intention of test data is to test the actual accuracy of your model, right? And why we are using train data to test our model, right? Because that will help you to understand if our model is overfitted or underfitted, or it's a right fitted, right? Yeah. So now so we know what to do, right? So what we have to do, obviously we need to apply the min max scalar on our test data set also, the min max scalar which we calculated on the train data set, right? So df.test of numerical columns equal to scalar dot, if you remember, I talked about one more function called fit transform, right? It does both fit and transform in one go, right? So yeah, here we go, it got converted. Now we need X variable, df_test of drop outcome X is equal to 1, Y test is equal to df_test dot outcome, right? So now if you see in the X text, we'll have the variables other than the outcome, right? So now we know it. So Y test is equal to lg dot predict X test, right? Now in the similar way, we'll find the accuracy on the this variable and the Y test. Oh, what? We get 100% accuracy. That's a strain, something wrong. Okay, so what we did is we created this variable y_test where we copied our outcome, and also we use the same variable for the prediction, right? That is wrong, right? So now we got 73% accuracy, and on the trained data we got 77. That's fine. The 5 to 6% difference is still fine. Now now look, if you see the accuracy, right, it says total number of correct predictions versus a total record, simply, right? So out of 100 records, how many records it got predicted successfully? So it says 73% of the records are predicted successfully, right, without any issues. But I have a problem, right? So I want to know how many zeros are predicted as zeros and how many ones are predicted as ones. Also, how many zeros are predicted as ones and how many ones are predicted as zeros. Okay, so confused, right? So, let me put in a simple way, right? So, how many diabetic patients are predicted as a diabetic patient, which is expected, right? And how many non-diabetic patients are predicted as non-diabetic, which is again expected, which means 0 as 0, 1 as 1, right? Now, how many diabetic patients are predicted as non-diabetic patient? He is a diabetic patient, but my model predicted as a non-diabetic, right? So another cases is how many non-diabetic cases, the other way around, right, as predicted as a diabetic. So the person don't have a diabetic, but my model says he has a diabetic. So I want to know this percentage, right? This is just says the overall accuracy. But I'm in my case, I'm worried about, like, I'm much worried about in a way where all the diabetic patients should my model predict as a diabetic, or else all the non-diabetic patients my model should predict as a non-diabetic, right? There should not be any mistake, right? So this 73% will tell you the overall, but if I want to know the individual thing, right, diabetic as a diabetic, non-diabetic as a non-diabetic, and diabetic as a non-diabetic, non-diabetic as a diabetic, right? So I just wanted to know those ratios also, right? That is very, very important, obviously, right? Then especially when you talk about the accuracy in the classification, this will mislead a lot, right? Maybe in banking sectors, right? So obviously I'm very much worried about the bad guy, right? So if I offered a loan for the bad customer, obviously it will be a loss for me, right? So he can be a defaulter, right? So now in that case I might be very much worried about a bad customer, which means a diabetic patient should predict as a diabetic, which means a bad customer should predict as a bad customer, in a way, right? So like if you compare right? So in the classification world, accuracy score is rarely used, but yes, this is also an important. But we widely use the different terms called recall, precision, sensitivity, specificity, right? To understand all these things, first we have to understand the confusion matrix. Okay, so I won't get you bored in this video, right? So we'll stop here. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll try to understand the different the accuracy matrices which is available for the classification problem, right? So hope you enjoyed this video, right? Stay tuned. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.